Zog the Gemara. Ayin Aleph Amud Aleph in the Mishnah. Gonav Mishel Aviv v'achal b'shus Aviv Mishel Acherim v'achal b'shus Acherim Mishel Acherim v'achal b'shus Aviv Eino Nase ben Sorer Morat Sheyigno Mishel Aviv v'yochal b'shus Acherim. So very interestingly, the Mishnah says that there's really two things. We were talking about addictions until now. You're going to become addicted. You're going to steal. You're going to be gluttonous. It's not just about that. It's also in terms of a fear of getting caught and a fear of somebody catching you. So that's why over here it says that if you steal from your father and you eat in your father's rishus, as we'll see, you're not going to be a ben tzora morer. If you steal from others and you eat in their rishus, you're not going to be in tzora morer. If you steal from others and eat in your father's rishus, you're not going to be a ben tzora morer until you steal from your father and you'll eat in other rishus. And we'll see again, because that's to do with being afraid. It has to do with access to cash, as we'll see in the Gemara. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, something unrelated. It's related to that, but not exactly. You only chayav once you steal from your father and your mother. See what that means. Zak the Gemara. If you steal from your father and you eat in your father's rishus, the meat, the money you steal seemingly, and you buy meat and then you eat in your father's rishus, avagav d'shchiach, even though in your father's house there's a lot of stuff to steal, you're always there, easy to steal, easy to become addicted, bias. However, you're not going to become a ben tzora morer because we know that you're going to be nervous to steal because your father is going to reprimand you, he's going to catch you. Mishal acherim v'achal b'shus acherim. If you steal from others and you eat in rishus acherim, avagav d'lo bias, even though you're not afraid of being caught because you're achel b'shus acherim, lo shchiach, you're not going to become addicted because it's not so easy to steal from other people. And for sure, from stealing from others and eating in your father's rishus, for sure that's not a ben tzora morer because you don't have a lot of access to the cash from others. And especially if you can eat in your father's house, you're going to be nervous and you're not going to become addicted to this behavior. If you steal from your father, now you always have accessible cash. You could always steal something. You could always find another kiddush cup in the house to steal and sell. So you always have stuff in the house to steal. Then you go and you eat it b'shel acherim, where you're not going to get caught. Nobody's going to know who you are. In that case, that's when you can become a ben tzora morer. Shiachle means you're going to have access, and v'lo bais means you're not nervous that you're going to be caught. Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Omer Yigno Mishalav Mishal Imo. Imo minala. What does it mean you're stealing from your father and your mother? How does your mother have anything? Mashe kansa isha kansa bala. Whatever your mother has goes to your father. Amar Yossi, Rabbi Chanina, misuda samuchenes avilu. It means that you steal from a suda that was for your father and your mother. What do you mean you stole from the suda for your parents? We know that ben tzora morer is only if you steal money and then you take the money and you buy food. It's not stealing actual food. So you only chayav for ben tzora morer if you steal money for a suda that was for your father and your mother. Again, each case is limiting the possibility of having ben tzora morer even more. So again, we don't necessarily paskin like this, but according to him, it needs to be money that was set aside not only for your father, money that was set aside for your father and your mother. Another possibility where your mother can have money, somebody gave her money and said, somebody can give her money and say on condition that your husband has no rishus. Now, I just want to explain that this part of the Gemara is explaining how a woman can be kona money. It doesn't explain how the money can be the father's and the mother's. According to this, if somebody's makne her money to the exclusion of her husband, it just belongs to the wife. And that money, if he steals, will not be ben tzora morer money because at the end of the day, it's only the wife. That's just an example of a case how a woman can have her own money. Can you shut the door, please? But at the end of the day, lamaisa, what we're talking about here is a case where you stole money that was set aside for a suda of the father and the mother. That would be ben tzora morer. Anything else would not be ben tzora morer because it's not the money of the father and the mother. Yes?
Is that a stereotype?
So again, it sounds like, in general, anything that she gets goes to her husband, with the exception of something that if she gets something, she works, it goes to her husband. If somebody's makne her something under the condition that it goes to her, then she gets to keep it. That's what the Gemara is telling you. Zak the Mishnah, Haya Aviv, Rotze, V'imo Eina Rotze. So now you have both parents have to want to make him a ben tzora morer. They have to want to bring him to court. He's rebellious. We want to bring him to court. So if the Aviv wants to bring him to court and the mother does, and Aviv Eino Rotze V'imo Rotze, the father doesn't want to bring him to court and the mother does, Eino Nasa ben tzora morer Yushnei and Rotzen. They both want to have to bring him to court. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Im lo haisa imo riyol Aviv Eino Nasa ben tzora morer. Yehuda again says something unrelated to the Reisha, related but not exactly, that if the mother is not royal aviv, he can't become a ben tzora morer. It means if they had an illegal marriage, the resulting kid can never become ben Sora Mora. Let's see. Zok the Gemara. Ma'ena Ruya. So the first part is obvious. First part of the Mishnah that we don't have to discuss. They have to both want him to become a ben Sora Mora. But what does it mean that the parents got married illegally? A brother and a sister married each other, or other people that are forbidden to each other married each other, where the chayiv kares or chayiv misas beis-din. Sov zov avua ninu v'ime ninu. Okay, very nice. The marriage wasn't good, but we're talking about a ben sorer remora. He's still the son. This is still his father. It's still his mother. Why should that make a difference if the parents got married illegally? Ella b'shaveh la'aviv kamar. Rather, what it means is eina reuya doesn't mean that they weren't allowed to get married. It means that they're not exactly the same. What does it mean they're not exactly the same? Tani nami hachi Rabbi Domer im lo haisa imo shavel aviv bekol uvemar v'koma eino nasem and sorer morer. This is the famous opinion that in order to have a sorer morer, you have to have the parents look exactly alike, they have to be the same height, and they need to sound exactly alike. So obviously, what's the possibility of that happening? Never. My time, or what's the reason? The Amar Kra inenu shomea bikoleinu. The parents said that they're not listening to our voices. They put them together. Midikol bayinan shavin. They need the kol to be the same. Mari v'kom and nami bayinan shavin. And therefore, it's never going to happen. Kiman azal hadatanya. Who does it go like? Ben Sora Mora lohaya v'loasid lios. That Ben Sora Mora never was and never will be. V'lama nichtav. Why is it written? So if it's never going to happen, why is it written? Derosh kabal schar. So we could learn daf yomi and we could get schar. Says the Gemara, who's that like? Kiman Rabbi Yehuda. It's like Rabbi Yehuda just said. They have to be exactly the same looks and height and voice. Never going to happen, never did happen, and therefore there's no Ben Sora Mora. Iba Yisema, or you could say that the Ben Sora Mora never happening is Rabbi Shimon, because he says, Mefurish Tanya, Rabbi Shimon, V'chim imnei sha'achal zet tartim arbasa v'shos achatzelu yain ha'yitalki aviv v'imo motzino so liskol, ela lo haya v'lo asid lios, v'lama nichtov drosh v'kabel schar. Crazy that you'd ever have somebody who would get skila for eating a certain amount of meat, or for drinking wine, rather drosh v'kabel schar. Again, same opinion, but lo haya v'lo yiyah. Rabbi Yonasan, what are you talking about? Ani re'isi v'yashafti al kivro. I actually saw a Ben Sora Morer, and I actually visited his kever. So what do you mean it never was and never will be? I actually saw a Ben Sora Morer with my own eyes. Fine, that's the machlokes. Keman azla ha-ditanya. Now we have another example of a possibility of something that never will be or never was. Keman azla ha-ditanya, ir hanidachas lo ha'isa v'lo asida lios. The near Hanidachas, a city that was totally destroyed because of avodah-zarah, never was and never will be. V'lama nichtava, why is it written? Derosh kabel schar, so we can learn daf yomi and get schar. Kiman, who's this like? Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says in near Hanidachas, o haisa v'lo asida lios. The Tanya Rabbi Eliezer mer. Why was it never haisa? Kol ir sheyesh ba'afilu mezuzah achas ena nasas ir Hanidachas. Because if there's even one mezuzah in the town, you destroy the whole town. Why not? My timer. Amar Kra, because it says ves kol shlala tigbot zel toch rachva v'sarfa ba'esh. Because you have to take all of the stuff from the city and you have to burn it in the city square. Since it says you can't do this to Hashem Elokeichem, you can't go ahead, right after it says, that they're going to go ahead and they're going to ruin the names, they're going to destroy the names, you can't do that to God. So obviously you can't destroy HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name. Now mezuzah is just an example, but mezuzah, Sefer Torah, any of these things would be usher to destroy the city. And therefore, Rabbi Eliezer says, since obviously by definition every single city, even one that serves avodah-zarah, there's going to be one person in the city that has a pair of tefillin, one person in the city that has a mezuzah, therefore, Lamaisa, there will never be an ir hanidachas. Zak the Gemara, what are you talking about? Amr b'yotzan aniri siha v'yashafti al tila. What are you talking about? I actually saw an ir hanidachas with my own eyes, and you don't know what you're saying. And therefore, there really was an ir hanidachas. Next, Kiman azah hadatanya. Third thing that was or never will be, or maybe was and maybe wasn't. Ditanya bayis hamenuga. What's a bayis hamenuga? It's a bayis that was destroyed because of tsaras. Keman, who's this like? Rabbi Zev, Rabbi Shimon. Did not. Rabbi Zev, Rabbi Shimon omer la'olamein bayis tamei. The reason that it never was is because he says it's a very specific type of case where you have nega on the bayis, and it's impossible to have that exact case. What's that? Ein bayis tamei et sheyira kishtei grisin al shtei avanim b'shtei ktalim b'keren zavis. Arko kishnei grisin v'rachvo kigris. So he says in order to have a bias that's going to be tsaras, that's going to have to be destroyed, you have to have one by one patch of nega on two pieces that are perpendicular to each other on the corner. So it's basically going to end up 2 by 1. What does that mean? So you have a wall here, and you have a wall here, and at the end of the day, you have to have inside of this wall, on the corner of this wall, you have to have a 1 by 1. in the corner of this wall, you have to one by one, and they're touching each other. So totally, it's basically like, over there. You have to have a one by one here and a one by one here. And Lamaisa, they're touching each other. So you end up with a box that's basically part here and then part on this wall. And it's, if you measure it, it's 2 by 1 total. But they're literally, that's impossible to have. You can have a nega on this corner, exactly the right amount of height and width touching each other. Basically never going to happen. Why would you need to have a nega, first of all? If you're going to explain to me that that's what you need, where does he get that from, that that's what you need? Says the Gemara, my time at Rabbi Shimon, kir, because it says in the pasuk by v'ras hanega v'nei hanega bekiros habayis, and at the end of the pasuk it says min hakir uksif kiros eze ukir shehu kakiros. Where do you have a wall that's like multiple walls? Haviomer zeh keren zavis. So it needs to be 2 negas at the corner, impossible to ever happen, and therefore lo haya v'lo yiyeh. Tanya, Amar Rabbi Zev, Rabbi Tzadok, again, what are you talking about? Malkam Haya B'tchum Azav, Ayukornasa Chorvasa Skirasa. I went to a place on my last trip to Oz. I went to a place, and there was a thing that was called, this is the ruins of a Bayis HaMenuga. Amar Rabbi Shimon Ishkvar Ako, Pam Achat Halachti L'Gol. I went to the Gol of V'Reisi Makom Shemitzayin Oso, V'Amar Avanim Menugos Pinu L'Sham. I also went to a place on my last trip to Israel, and Lamaisa, there was a place that said, this used to be a Bayis HaMenuga. I don't know if that place still exists, but Lamaisa, we have a machlokas. We have a bunch of machlokas as whether these things Lamaisa ever took place or not. We talk about a Ben Sorer Umoreh, we talk about an Iran Idachas, and we spoke about a Bayis HaMenuga. Zok the Mishnah. Haya echad mehem, Gidam, O Chiger, O Elaim, O Suma, O Cheresh, Eino Nasa Ben Sorer Umoreh. If the parents are one of these things, which we'll explain in a second, they can't become a ben sorer or the child because we have to take the pasuk literally. Shenamar v'tafsu bo aviv v'imo. The parents need to grab him. V'lo gedamin. Gedamin is somebody that doesn't have any arms. If both parents can't grab him, that means if one of them doesn't have arms, then they can't be a ben sorer or. V'hotzio, so they need to take him out. V'lo chigrin. Can't be somebody that's lame, or else they can't actually carry him out to the zikanim. V'amru, they have to say v'lo ilmin. They can't be mutes. They can't be people that can't speak because at the end of the day, then they can't say. B'nei nuzeh, they have to be able to point to their son and say, this son, v'lo sumin. They can't be blind or else they can't see his son. Einenu shomea b'kolenu, he doesn't hear our voice, v'lo charashin. Therefore, they can't be deaf. Rashi says, what do you mean they can't be deaf? What does that have to do with he doesn't listen to our voice? Rashi explains that they have to know that he agrees. That means they have to hear him say, I agree with the warning. And therefore, if they're deaf, then they know that he agreed. Otherwise, they could just see him not listening. Shemei. No, it says in Shemei Beklenu, they have to be able to say that we heard that he agreed that he will listen to us, and then he went off the path. Matrin bo. So that's mefurish in the pasuk that they can't be any of these things. And if either one of the parents are one of these things, you can't have a ben sorer mor. Masrin bo b'fnei shlosha malakina. So it's very interesting. We always thought a ben sorer mor is warned, and then he's gluttonous, and he gets killed. No, there's actually a step beforehand. We warn him not to be a ben sorer mor. If he doesn't listen, then what do? We warn him in front of 3, and then we give him malchus. Once he gets malchus, chazar v'kilkel nidon be'esim v'shlosha. If we give him malchus, and then he goes ahead, and he's warned, and then he messes up again, then we judge him in front of 23, ve'nenu niskal ad sheyusham shlosha rishonim. And fascinating. Not only that, there's so many details. After he's warned in front of 3, he gets malchus. Then he's warned again, and if he's actually going to be a ben sorer mor, he's guilty. We say that he gets skila, but the 3 original ones who he was warned in front of for the malchus need to be there as well. Shenemar baneinu zeh. We need to point him and say baneinu zeh zeh shelaka bifneichem. This one who was laka in front of you, because again, seemingly we had 3 witnesses. We'll see in the Gemara, it's not necessarily true, but 3 witnesses who were witnessing the warning and witnessed the malchus. We have to be able to say the second time, baneinu zeh, this son who was laka bifneichem didn't listen again, and now he deserves skila. Shmas, we know, we learned from this whole Mishnah, ba'inan krakid echsiv. You got to take the pasuk literally, because again, we're learning so many halachas from this pasuk. Says the Gemara, you can't necessarily prove from here. Shani hacha dikule kra yiserahu. No, based on the way that Rashi explains that a lot of the pasuk is extra. You can learn the pasuk differently, especially the end of the pasuk. Therefore, you can't necessarily prove from here that every single pasuk we're going to take literally. It's because there are some extra words here that we can make all of these diyukim in the pasuk. But in general, you can't necessarily say that you have to take every single pasuk literally mamish. Umasrin bo bifnei shlosha. You warn him in front of 3. This is before. This is the first time. Lamali betray sagi. What do you have to warn him in front of 3? In general, when you warn somebody, you warn him in front of 2. Says the Gemara, you're right. Amar Abaye, hachi kamar. Masrin bo bifnei shnayim, umelakin oso bifnei shlosha. You warn him in front of 2, then you do malchus in front of 3. Like throughout the entire Torah, anytime you give malchus, it's in front of 3. then when we say B'nai Nuzeh, it sounds like you need to bring the three that you did the Malkus in front of. They need to be part of, again, before you can go ahead later and try him for Skila. Malkus b'ben Sorer Mora Heicha Ksiva, but it doesn't say anything about Malkus by Ben Sorer Mora. So how do you know that you give him Malkus? Kidi Rabbi Avo, Da'am Rabbi Avo, Lamanu v'yistru mi v'yistru. Mi v'yistru mi ben, uben mi ben, v'ayoyim ben hakos harasha. What he says is as follows. It says the word v'yistru by Ben Sorer Mora. It says the word v'yistru by Motzi Shemra. It says the word ben by Ben Sorer Mora, and it says the word ben by Malkus. V'ayoyim ben hakos harasha. So then you give him Malkus. So basically, we put Ben Hakos Rasha Malkus on the bottom, just for illustrative purposes. You have Ben Sorer Mor in the middle, which says the word Ben and the word V'yisru. And then you have Motzi Shemer, which says the word V'yisru. So you learn from Ben of Malkus to Ben of Ben Sorer Mor, that you get Malkus by Ben Sorer Mor. Then you take the word V'yisru, and you learn from Ben Sorer Mor to Motzi Shemer, and now you have Malkus in all of those cases. That's what the Gemara says. Chazer v'kilkel nidon b'chav gimel. Haimi boyle zeh v'lo sumin. I understand. How can you tell me that at the end of the day, you know that you need to go ahead in front of the 23 and you need to have three, the original three that he got Malkus in front of? How do you know that? From B'nai Nuzeh. You just told me in the beginning of the Mishnah that B'nai Nuzeh, Zeh is v'lo sumin, that the parents can't be blind. How could it teach me two things? It can't teach me that parents can't be blind and teach me that you need the three people that he got Malkus from originally in front of him. Says the Gemara, yes, you can. Imkain lichto b'nei nuhu. It should have said b'nei nuhu. The fact that it says my b'nei nuzeh, so you can learn from the general b'nei nuzeh, and the fact that it says zeh specifically, you can learn something else. Shema mina tarti. And therefore, from b'nei nuzeh, you learn A, that if either one of the parents is blind, he cannot be ben sorer morer, and B, that you need to have, if you're going to give him skill at the end of the day, you need to have the three people that he originally got Malkus in from, they need to be in front of you as now as well. Okay. Zak the Mishnah. Now it gets a little bit harder. Barach achelo nigmar dino. Yes. Shama Shavn Aliyah. Are you Chabadnik? Nachum Mendel, Sam?
Yeah, my mother's side.
Oh. Well, you're also Chabadnik. What's the problem? Oh, your cousins. Okay. Zak the Mishnah. Barach achelo nigmar dino. V'yachar kach hikiv zakef hatachton pater. Zaken hatachton pater. Ve'imish nigmar dino barach v'yachar hikiv zaken hatachton chayav. Very interesting. So what happened? We know that Ben Sorer Mor is only between the time that he has two saros until the zaken hatachton fills up. So what happened here? He was barach achelo nigmar dino. So he actually did the crime when he was fit to be a Ben Sorer Mor. He was old enough. He was in the right parsha, quote unquote. But then he ran away, and when he came back, he was no longer fit. So at the time that he was judged, he was no longer fit to be a Ben Sorer Mora. In that case, he's going to be pater. Very interesting. So you commit a crime, you're chayav for the crime. If you had been tried for the crime at the time, you would have gotten killed. But since you ran away, so now when you come back, since you're not chayav for the crime, we're not going to make you chayav. Very interesting. And the opposite. If you were tried, and Lamaisa, you ran away, and now when we get you, it's too late because now you're already no longer in the parsha. Too bad. You were already tried, you were convicted while you were in the parsha, and now you're going to be chayav. Amar Rabbi Chanina. So Rabbi Chanina is going to learn from here to another case. Ben Noach shebireches Hashem. If a Ben Noach curses God, v'achar kach nisgayer. So a Ben Noach curses God, and then he converts. So what would you say? I would say chayav. Pater. Hoel v'nishtana dino v'nishtana misaso. If a Ben Noach curses God and then he converts, he's pater. Why? Because first of all, the whole din changes from a Ben Noach to Yisrael. That means when you're a Ben Noach, as Rashi says, you don't need to have two witnesses. You could have only one judge. You don't need any hasra. When you become a Jew, you need two witnesses, you need hasra, you need a whole beit-din. V'nishtana misaso, and also his misa switches. Because what was the misa when he was a non-Jew? It was sayif. What's his misa when he curses God as a Jew? Skila. Says the Gemara, since his misa changes and his din changes, he got off the hook. He's a lucky guy.
That's what he does.
So he goes ahead, he curses God, and then he's nisgayer. Einachanami. Chances are he'll curse God again, and then he'll get skila. Nema misayeh. So now we're going to try to prove Rabbi Chanina, who says that a Ben Noach who curses God and converts, he's pater because his din changes and his misa changes. So let's say that our Mishnah supports him. Barach achelo nigmar dino v'yachkach chichiv zaken atachton pater. If this guy runs away and when he comes back, he's no longer in the parsha, he's pater. My time Allah mishum darmino ho v'ishtane ishtane. Maybe we should say the reason he's no longer in the parsha is because his din changed and his misa changed. Lo shani hacha di avad hashta lav barkat lahu. No, the difference is that here, the Misa, if he does it now, he's not a bar katla. What does that mean? Zak Rashi, Shani hacha ilu avid ashta lav bar katlahu. Aval hacha ilu avid ashta bar katlahu. Avagav nishtana dino misaso lo mifter v'dainin le bedina dahashta. That means I understand. You want to prove that a ben Noach who curses God should be pater. No, you can't prove from our thing. I understand why this guy who comes ahead and runs away now becomes back, he's pater, because now if he would actually be a ben sower or moreh, he would not be killed because he's not in the parsha. But a ben Noach, even though the misa changes, a ben Noach, when he comes and he's berach as Hashem, if he curses God now as a Jew, he's going to get killed also. So the fact that this guy who's a ben sower or moreh will no longer, he's pater if he runs away and then comes back, he's no longer in the parsha, that shouldn't prove that a ben Noach maybe still should get killed. Because a ben Noach, l'maiseh, now that he's a Jew, he also can't curse God. Says the Gemara Tashma. So now we have a question of Rabbi Chanina from the Seifa. Nigmar dino barach v'akachichiv zaken hatachton chayav. If he was chayav and then he runs away, now we would kill him when he comes back, even though he's not in the parsha anymore. Nigmar dino. So what do you see over here? You see that lemaiseh afagav dishtani lo ifter. We see that even though now he's changed from being a person who was what? Even though he's a person who's no longer chayiv, he's not in the parsha, he's still going to be chayiv. So too, a ger who is no longer in the parsha, what? Should also be chayiv, because again, he was still, when he did it, it was a problem. It says, no, nigmar dino kamart. Nigmar dino gavar katilahu. No, you can't prove a question from there either, because maybe in our case, mishan nigmar dino. Once it's nigmar dino, then we can't change the din. But Einachanami, the way that Rabbi Chanina is saying is maybe true, that since it was never Nigmar Dino and he was this guy here before Nigmar Dino, maybe in fact he will not be chayiv, he could be pater. So we haven't proven for or against Rabbi Chanina. Tashma, proof for Rabbi Chanina. Ben Noach shehikas chavero, or maybe a proof against. A Ben Noach who kills his friend, uba aleishes chavero, or commits adultery, v'nisgayer pater. A Ben Noach who kills his friend, what do you get for killing your friend as a non-Jew? A non-Jew who kills a non-Jew gets saif. What does a non-Jew get for adultery? Seemingly saif as well. Well, we'll see in a second. There's going to be an argument that says he always gets chenek, but at this point he always gets saif, either saif or chenek. Asa kain be Yisrael v'nisgayer chayav. Fascinating. If a non-Jew kills a Jew and then he converts, he's chayav. If he commits adultery with a Jew and then he converts, he's chayav. Why should it make a difference? What's the nafkamina? V'amai nema hoel v'ishtani ishtane. The din changes because now he becomes a Jew, and second of all, the misa changes because he goes from saif to seemingly skila. Says the Gemara, dino misaso ba'inan. You need dino and misa. V'hai dino ishtani. You're right. As a Jew, he changes the din, but at the end of the day, misaso lo ishtani. But his misa doesn't change. Therefore, that's why he's going to be chayav. What do you mean? What do you mean the misa doesn't change? Bishlama wrote sayach meikara sayif ahashta sayif. If a Jew kills a Jew, so he gets sayif. If a non-Jew kills a Jew, he gets sayif. So I understand that if a non-Jew kills a Jew and then he's misgayer, I understand why he's still going to be chayav because his din might change, but the misa didn't change. Ela eshes ish meikara sayif ahashta chenek. Why, if he commits adultery with a Jewish woman and then he converts, is he going to be chayav? At the end of the day, if he commits it, when he commits the adultery as a non-Jew, he's chayav sayif for committing adultery with a Jewish woman. And now when he commits, if he would commit the adultery with a Jewish woman when he's Jewish, he's going to be chenek. So it's a different punishment. So if it's a different punishment, you should not have the misa. Says the Gemara, no, we're dealing with a nara hamirasa, the aide b'skila. We're dealing with a nara hamirasa where there's a non-Jew committed adultery with a nara hamirasa Jew, which he gets skila for, not chenek. And therefore, when he becomes a Jew, it's the same punishment, and therefore, we can keep it and we can kill him. Says Gemara, that can't be. V'ha'asa can't be Yisrael, dumya de'eshes chaveru katani. Can't be. Read the Mishnah. It says that Ben Noach shikes chaveru ba'al eshes chaveru. What's that talking about? The Ben Noach committed adultery with a non-Jewish woman, a married woman. That can't be a nara mirasa. There's no such thing as an nara mirasa by a non-Jew. Then he goes ahead and he does the same thing. Now he goes ahead and he's this guyer. If he does the same thing with a Jew. So we're saying it means that he committed adultery with a Jewish Nara Marasa. It can't be, because there was no equivalent of a Nara Marasa in the non-Jew. It must be just like the first case in the Mishnah was committing adultery with a married woman. The second case in the Mishnah must be committing adultery with a married woman, not with a Nara Marasa. Ela kala b'chamura meshach shaycha. Very fascinating. Rather, what does it mean? Why can this guy get death? Again, we said the non-Jew commits adultery with a Jewish woman. Then he converts. He's chayav. The misa is different. When he committed it as a non-Jew, the misa was sayif, and now if he would commit it as a Jew, it's chenek. He says kala b'chamura meshach shaycha. Which one is more strict? Sayif is more strict according to this. So if he was going to get sayif as a non-Jew, we could still give him a lesser punishment as a Jew. Means now that he converts, Einachanami converted, but we can give him still chenek because of Maisa. You can't say, Nishtana Misa, we can't kill him. We can only say Nishtana Misa, he's pater, if now that he becomes a Jew, it's a harsher penalty. We can't give you the harsher penalty. We can't give you the Sayif because you converted, and we can't give you the harsher penalty because now, Lamaisa, we can't give you something harsher than you deserved. But if you deserve Sayif, which was harsh as a non-Jew, and now you become a Jew and you're chayav chenek, quote unquote, because again, he's chayav for the act that he did. But now that he's converted, so now he's only going to be chayav chenek, we can give you the lesser punishment when you're a non-Jew. And therefore, even though nishtana misaso, we could still keep him chayav because we're going from a more serious one to a less serious one. Says the Gemara, that only works hanichal rabbanan to amri sayif chamor. That only works if sayif is more chamor than chenek. Therefore, you're going from sayif, from a non-Jew, to a woman who is a Jewish woman committing adultery, to going to chenek when you become a Jew. Rabbi Shimon de Amar chenek chamor ma'ika l'meimar. If chenek is more chamor, then how can we say you're chayav when you convert? Lamaisa, you're going from the more mekel punishment of sayif as a non-Jew to the chenek punishment as a Jew. Rabbi Shimon Savarla, he holds kitana de Menashe Damar kol misa mural b'nei Noach ina ela chenek. He holds that no. That in general, a Ben Noach does not get sayif. We don't necessarily hold like this, but he holds that a Ben Noach does not get sayif, he gets chenek. Therefore, at the end of the day, you're going from chenek to chenek. If you're going from chenek to chenek, no problem. Bishlama eshes ish mei kara chenek v'ashta chenek. That only works now by eshes ish. But now if you say that a non-Jew always gets chenek, ela rotzeach mei kara chenek v'hashta sayif, now you're going from chenek as a non-Jew to sayif for killing another Jew. Says the Gemara, it doesn't matter, because according to this opinion, which one is more strict? Chenek. Therefore, you can go from chenek to sayif. As we said, you can go from a stricter one to a less one. Kala b'chamura meshach shaycha. That's the back and forth. A little bit complicated, but the bottom line is that if it's nishtana misaso to something more serious, if when you did it as a non-Jew, now you're nishtana misaso, now if you would do it as a Jew, it would be something that you get a more serious punishment for, then we have to say pater, you beat the system. But if you would have gotten punished as a non-Jew for something that was major, quote unquote, you would have gotten chenek or sayif, whatever one is more serious, and now you go to either the same or to a lesser punishment by becoming a Jew, we can still punish you for the punishment that you originally got when you were a non-Jew. Zak the Gemara, leima misayele. Let's prove Rabbi Chanina, who again says that a Ben Noach who curses God and is niskayer, so then he is pater. Sarcha v'achar kach bagra. If you have a woman who sins, and then she becomes a bogeres, what's that? That's a nara milrasa. She sins, and then she becomes a bogeres. Tidon bechenek. She gets chenek. What does that mean? Well, she was a nara milrasa when she sinned. So when she was a nara milrasa, she was chayav skila. But now that she got bigger, she's chayav chenek. Beskila my time alo. Why doesn't she get skila? Lamaisa, she did the act. La mishum dehov ishtani ishtani. We can't give you the skila. We can give you the lesser thing. Because again, you're going from greater to lesser, we could still, but we have to give you the chenek, because the Maisa, now you're a bar chenek. So to a Ben Noach sheberech es Hashem ve'ach kach nisgayer, you got to be pater, because again, you're going over there. In that case, you don't have from a more serious to a lesser, therefore you're going to be pater legamri. This proves that he's right. V'kolshken hachad ishtana legamri. So to hear that he's nishtana legamri, hamalei Rabbi Yochanan letana tani nidon b'skila. You can't bring any proof, because that's not the din. The din is not that a Nara Murasa who gets convicted and then she goes ahead and becomes a Bogeris is going to get Chenek. She's actually going to get Skila. You keep the same. That doesn't prove for Rabbi Chanina, because then, according to Rabbi Chanina, Ben Noach Shabir Ches Hashem should actually be Chayav when he's this Gayer. So we don't have any proof, but at the end of the day, that's what we see. Let's just do the Mishnah. 2 more minutes. Ben Sorer Mora Nidon Al Shem Sofo. Ben Sorer Mora is Nidon on what's going to be in the future. Yama Zakai ve'Yama Chayev. As we say, we're going to kill him and make sure that he's killing that when he's still Zakai and not when he's Chayev. We want to kill him before he goes ahead and really goes off the path. Shemisasan Shavishayim Analan Vanalom. Now the Gemara sort of says a little bit of an agadata. The Misa of a Rasha is good for them and good for the world. Because they stop sinning, it's good for them, and it's good for the world because now there's no more Rashayim in the world. Lat Tzadikim Ralahem Virala Olam. When a tzaddik dies, it's bad for them, because they can no longer learn Torah, and it's bad for the world, because they're keeping bracha in the world. Yayin v'sheina l'rishayim analan v'nala olam. Yayin and sheina are good for the rishayim because they enjoy it, and it's good for the world because it keeps them out of trouble when they're sleeping and when they're drunk. V'lat tzadikim r'alahen v'ral olam. When a tzaddik is drunk or sleeping, it's bad for them because then they're not learning Torah, and it's bad for the olam because they're not teaching Torah. Pizor l'rishayim analan v'nala olam. When rishayim are all spread out all over the world and not near each other, so it's good for them because it keeps them out of trouble, and it's good for the world because it keeps the world out of trouble if the rishayim are out of trouble. But if the tzaddikim are all spread out, it's bad for them because before internet and email, they can't communicate with each other. They can't have back and forth with Torah, and it's bad for the world. Conversely, Rishayim, but if Rishayim are all together, Ralahen v'Rala Olam, it's bad for them because it gets them into trouble, and it's bad for the world because it causes trouble to the world. V'lat tzadikim anala and v'nala olam. When tzadikim are together, it's geshmak for them. They can go back and forth in Torah, and it's good for the world because a lot of chedushim come out of it. Sheket l'Rishayim, when it's quiet for Rishayim, Ralahen, when they have good, quiet lives, it's bad for them because then they get into trouble. When you're bored, you get into trouble. V'Rala Olam, when they get into trouble, the world gets into trouble. Lat tzadikim, when it's quiet for tzadikim, and Alahen, it's good for them. V'Hanala Olam, because they can sit in Steig and share Torah and bracha with the world.